Let me make sure I got a mic on. Here we do. Good morning. Good morning. Let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test and the things we think, say, and do. 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right, reflection, Blake.
Good morning.
Good morning.
20 years ago, I got an email from my boss that went to all his peers and all his reports. And I thought, this might make a good thought for the day for Rotary. So today is the day. We'll find out. It's a poem called Working for Tomorrow by Henry Botts. Is anyone happier because you passed this way? Does anyone remember that you spoke to them today? The day is almost over and its working time is through. Is there anyone who now can say a kindly word of you? Can you say tonight in parting that the day that's slipping fast, that you helped a single person of the many that you passed? Is a single heart rejoicing over what you did or said? Did someone whose hopes were fading now with courage look ahead? Did you waste the day or use it? Was it well or sorely spent? Did you leave a trail of kindness or a scar of discontent? As you close your eyes in slumber, do you think that anyone will say, you have earned one more tomorrow by what you did today?
Thank you. All right, you can be seated. No song today. I don't know, Dick, do you have the visiting guests and Rotarians this morning? Great, thank you.
All right, we have a guest today, Marcus Flynn. Could you stand up and introduce yourself?
Oh, what am I doing?
Just introduce yourself.
My social is 7. My name is Marcus Flynn. I'm the executive director of Black Men Teachers. It's a pleasure to be here today.
And Tom Bird is here in the category of friend of a member. I'm not sure what that is, but Gene assures me it's a category. And Tom, you want to stand up and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Tom Bird. Great to see you all again. As you may remember, you guys all sponsored me for a Global Grant Scholarship a few years back, and now I am officially a friend of the City of Lakes Club. So that means that I can come by for one meeting a month, and I'm happy to do it.
Yay. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Tom. I do remember you now.
Thank you. Welcome to all our guests today. Good to see you here. Time for announcements. And I know that Lisa Moncrieff has an announcement this morning. Lisa.
Got to swallow my food here. Good morning. So hopefully you guys received an email last week about our annual holiday gift drive. City of Lakes is again participating with the Boys and Girls Club this year in their Kids Can Give campaign. And it's really cool. There are lots of ways for you to be able to go out and get a gift for the kids. And there are 4 ways that are listed in the email. Brock's putting it on the website today too, by the way. But anyway, kids at the Boys and Girls Club go to their store and purchase a gift for their family members to be able to give during the holiday season, which is great. Also, we have a volunteer opportunity on December 22nd at the Boys and Girls Club, Jerry Gamble location. So hopefully you guys can make it. It's between 11 and 4. I'm thinking we'll probably do our group more toward the end because like maybe 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then go to happy hour afterwards at Psycho Susie's. So hopefully some of you can make it, if not all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, that's a fun event. So hopefully we can have a good turnout for that as well. I heard there was some game this past week. I don't really remember the result of the game, but Bob Minish, can you tell us a little bit what happened with Minnesota Iowa football game and our pledging?
Yes, it was a typical Minnesota nice invasion of Iowa, and Iowa has a little to cheer about that we let them win the game, but it was a close game, a fun game for people to watch. But more importantly, we had a wager on the game in terms of the donations for the Polio Plus campaign. Dick Hall collected the pledge sheets last week, and Kurt Nelson is the one that's been tallying them, and so last week's pledge sheets haven't gotten to Kurt. But through the first 2 weeks with money collected in the pledge sheets, our total for City Lakes is $3,646, which at 88 members works out to $41.43 per capita. Now, I just ballparked the Cedar Rapids Club at 300 members. I don't know exactly their count, but using our per capita, their total for polio would have to be well over $12,000, $12,400. So we don't know yet what they've got. But last year, when we partnered for the storm damage, their contribution was nowhere near that amount. So I'm hoping they're equally stingy this year, and we can have Floyd Rosedale Trophy gracing our podium.
Very good. And you know, even though Iowa got Floyd the Pig, we have a Floyd the Pig we can win from the Cedar Rapids Club and proudly display here. So can we still give to the, I guess we still can't, you know, pick the total score or anything like that, but can we still give to the Iowa Minnesota football game?
I believe we're still on the website. If you just go there, there's a special page on the donation section to pledge or donate for the Minnesota Iowa. So sure, by all means.
Great. Make sure we beat the Cedar Rapids Club and get that Floyd the Pig. They bought it. By the way, we gave them half the money for it. So let's make sure we get that Floyd the Pig. And Jim, I think you need to gloat a little bit too.
Some of you may remember we had a friendly wager between Anyway, a friendly wager between the Michigan State and Michigan Blue a couple of weeks ago. And the wager was lunch, and John's going to buy me lunch. And we had to display our wares at a meeting. So there, I want you to know, now it may change next year, but we're actually, this Saturday, Michigan State plays Ohio State, which is as equal or more of a rival to Michigan as it is Michigan State. And he wants us to wear them down a little bit because they play them the following week. So there's still hope. And we agree on that. We both would love to beat Michigan State. But anyway, John's buying me lunch, and I'm going to contribute the same amount to our polio fund or Happy Bucks. So it's everybody wins. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have another Michigan State. She's not here today. We have 2 against 1. You have it? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, there you are. So we have another Sparty now. You better start recruiting. Any more comments?
Couple. And I will remind the Oleys and Gusties that you too have a bet on this game, and the Sadly, Gustavus pulled off that one. So, but make sure you're contributing whatever you pledge to the Minnesota-Iowa football game. And I guess I'm buying those Gusties beer. All right, other announcements. On Fridays, the Women's Club is open for breakfast. So if you're looking for a spot to have breakfast, if you're looking for a spot to have breakfast on Friday morning, come here. It's a great spot. We have our leadership meetings every other Friday here, and the breakfast has been great. Also, next week, we are not meeting live. We are meeting only on Zoom next week. So don't come here next week. Next week is a Zoom only meeting. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We figured people would be traveling. So Zoom only next week. You can, of course, find the Zoom link online. All right. I think that's all the announcements. Let us go on with our awards program, and Carol Russell, our past president.
Good morning. I don't talk as loud as Scott, so we'll give it a try. Okay, and thank you for attending. This is my very favorite day of the Rotary year. It's a time when we recognize outstanding members for the contributions they make to our club and to our greater community. And the way I look at it is it's a day to recognize the quiet people. You know, there's a lot of people that do a lot. I mean, everybody in this room and online and those that aren't attending today give so much to all of us. But there are those that work quietly behind the scenes that you never know about. You know, you don't hear. And I think this is a chance for us to recognize them. Okay. And it's also a time to recognize two extraordinary individuals and an organization that we do on an annual basis. So let's get started. Leadership Service Awards. As you know, service above self is our motto. It's only fitting that in addition to financial contributions to our club, we're also recognizing service. And if you recall in the past, we keep track of volunteer hours, but because of COVID, the last couple of years, we aren't giving those awards based on the number of hours because a lot of those opportunities have not been available. But we do want to recognize several of our members who've invested significant time in some very key initiatives. So I'm going to call up several individuals. Scott has the certificates, and I would ask you to just feel free to applause when they come up, because I think they're outstanding. Tony Amos, who not only is she serve as our pianist, but she also led the drive to collect calendars for seniors. Who would have known that was such an important thing? And it's a great service, and delivers books to Way to Grow. So, Tony, thank you. Sangam Napit, I don't know if he is online. He works with Jean and volunteers on the club's branding efforts, which is really important. You're going to be hearing more about that. He's done so much. He worked on social media, et cetera. And next Tuesday, we'll be doing a focus group here with me, with non-members, so that we can understand what they know about our organization. Bill Jackson. Along with his excellent work chairing the International Services Committee, he has worked to have City of Lake sponsor the Rotary Community Corps, which you have heard about, that involves members of Engineers Without Borders. RCC's cooperation with this committee to prepare a $30,000 district grant to fund a kitchen and latrine in Rio Azul High School in, I'm going to say it wrong, Quiche? Close enough, Guatemala. So thank you, Bill. Anna Prisakari. We want to recognize her for expertise in planning our Welcome to the Women's Club party that was a huge success, our happy hour at the brewery, and our upcoming Christmas party. So thank you. And Bob Minish. Oh, where do I start with Bob? He is online. He has done so much on the Minnesota Iowa fundraiser, as you heard some of that. He is chair of the Outstallation Committee and the official script writer for that, which I got to tell you, that's a lot of work and an interesting thing to go through. We've estimated that the Minnesota Iowa event has raised at least $60,000 for Polio Plus. And we're hoping to get that pig. We will see. But he is a perfect example of one of those quiet members. You know, I mean, he's not quiet when he talks about Iowa, but he does so much, and he's an amazing guy. So thank you, Bob. Lisa Moncrieff, she has led the Boys and Girls Club, the holiday event where kids can come, as she probably explained, to buy gifts for their families at a very, very low rate. It's a big undertaking every year, and we're very appreciative to that. Chris Morris, is Chris here? Yes. He organizes the YCAP mock interviews at Dunwoody, which are, if you have not done that, you know, please respond when he sends out an invitation, because it's really an interesting and fulfilling thing to go through. It's a way for their students to practice interviews before they're in a potential job situation or internship. And of course, Gary Mosman. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to all go this summer to see his thousands of hostas. I'm not kidding you. I did that last year. It's amazing. And he has volunteered to do that as a foundation event for us this year, if everything comes together. He organized the CES food shelf many, many times, and rake, rattle, and roll. We just got done raking 12 yards for seniors on a volunteer basis, which was a lot of fun. And he has done that since 1990. And Warm Hands, Warm Hearts, he has collected 900 hats and pairs of gloves, which is really a great thing. Adekunle Samuel and Jim Eaton. I know Jim's here. Organized the Knicker Open 2.0 to great acclaim. And Kurt Nelson and Dick Hall, I know at least Dick is online. They joined Bob to help run the Polio Plus fundraiser. And Gail Noakes, of course, our peer group. She is our fearless leader of that meets every month at, what is it, 6:45, I believe. And it's got a great following, really, really interesting online event. And of course, Ross Naylor, we want to recognize him. He does many things behind the scenes. He's also our assistant Zoom master. He's hoping to, you know, move up. And Tom Tamura and Pat Joyce. Tom is the club's youth exchange officer, and Pat sits on the North Star Youth Exchange Board. So very, very important activities. Okay, and I'm telling you right now that, you know, I apologize if we're missing anybody, because everybody deserves something here, you know, but we just have this list right now.
Yes, he's coming. Yes, they're coming.
Okay, Brock is coming next. We want to give a special award, a Technology Guru Award. This is special recognition. I want to remind you what he has done that none of us would want to do. He is or would know how to do. He's given many hours to run the Zoom meetings, the position that Brock is hoping to get. When we met totally on Zoom and trained others to do so as well, he figured out how to do a hybrid experience. And just a reminder, a lot of clubs aren't doing hybrid because it's too complex. And we've done it very successfully. He's done it. And every week, he has helped make our technology work. So getting presentations up there, doing all of that. He rebuilt our website, which is very nice and much more user-friendly. He recorded a tutorial of how to use our website. So if you want to find those reimbursement forms and things like that, he can tell you how to do that. And most importantly, he's done it all with a really great attitude. So we could go on and on. But we thank you. And we want to give him something that is near and dear to his heart. All right.
Bell's Expedition Imperial Stout.
Thank you. And we also want to recognize the rooters, even though we didn't have time to have them sing today. We all deeply appreciate everything you do. You get here early. You, I know in the past you had rehearsals and they were down the hall when we were in our other location, but it is, it's now that you're right in the other room. So it's great. It's just really adds to the atmosphere. So if you could just all stand, anybody who's in Rooter, so we can thank you. Okay, and now I'm pleased to turn the program over to our Rotary Foundation co-chairs, Bill Klein, Bob Baker, and they have those annual awards.
Thank you, Carol. As you know, we accomplish the good things we do through our sweat equity, but also through our financial equity. And so this part of the program acknowledges those who have given to our City of Lakes Foundation and the Rotary Foundation. For the City of Lakes Foundation, we provide awards called the Dick DeVore Award, who is after, I believe, our first club president. So it has a long history. And as is the case with the Paul Harris Award, there are steps. Each additional $1,000 of cumulative giving you've given over your lifetime results in an additional award. The first award is just the Dick DeVore initial first time level. We have 5 people who have achieved that this year. Terrell Brum, Ellen Krug, Todd Marshall, Karen Scott, and Aaron Wicks. And I don't know if any of those folks are here, but if you are, we have pins for you. There is an additional pin with a stone, just like the Paul Harris Awards for those that achieve the next level. And I will note right now that for some of the higher levels, we still need to get pins for you. We have a few, but some of them are on order. So we will acknowledge you today when we get there, and we will give whatever pins we have, and we'll note who has not received them. But first at the next level is Bill Jackson. Bill, we got a pin for you. Dick DeVore +2, we have Chad Esslinger, Sheila Gothman, John Hobbs, and Lisa Moncrieff. And so John, Lisa, John, Lisa. Scott, are you going to take a picture? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, John. I have to note at this point that Rotary's colors are very close to maize and blue, so go blue. At the Dick DeVore +3 level, we have Ellen Archibald, Maria Bavender, Jody Massey, Hugh Pruitt, and Dean Sandberg. And at the +4 level, John Rent and Keith Showquist. At the +5 level, Bob Baker, Brock Ray, John Vandermeide, and Meg Waterman. And John, we will get you your pin. At the +6 level, Scott Benson, Susan O'Brien, Jeff Roby, and Carol Russell. Mhm.
Great. I thought we had 3 here.
Uh-huh. At the +7 level, Marlene Dietrich, Cynthia Lenny, Mark Moseman, and John Pine.
So show yours off.
And at the +10 level is Bob Minish, and we do have a pin for him, and we'll get it to him. We also would like to acknowledge those members of the club who are major donors, and those are persons who have given enough to exceed the DD +10 level and over their lifetime of giving, and that's Joyce Agnew, Julie Grape, Sean Irwin, Keith Johnson, Pat Joyce, Bill Klein, Ed Cadet, Mark Labovitz, Russ Mickelets, Jim Nelson, Kurt Nelson, Gail Noakes, Doug Schmidt, Tom Tamura, Mark Thompson, and Jim Voss. Thank you to all of you who have helped make our foundation what it is and to help it allow us to do the things that we do. I'll just put in a plug. You know, we're in our foundation drive. If you have not pledged yet, Bob Baker will be contacting you. If you have pledged, you know, if you can get your cash in before the middle of December, you'll get a letter acknowledging it and you can deduct it on your tax return next year. The Rotary Foundation provides Paul Harris Awards. This year's a little messy because through the generosity of a donor, and many members of our club received Paul Harris Awards earlier in the year, and Carol provided those awards to those who have received it. So what we have at this point are those that through their giving have achieved an additional level of award during the course of the last year. For those who have received a Paul Harris +1, and we do have pins for all of you, we have Maria Bavender, Mark Esslinger, Hugh Pruitt, and Karen Scott. So. At a Paul Harris +2, John Hobbs. We'll get it for you. It should be there. It's user error in labeling them. Paul Harris +3, Marlene Dietrich and Jeff Meacham. Paul Harris +4, Dennis Lotz. And Paul Harris +6, Doug Schmidt. And we would also like to acknowledge Paul Harris major donors: Julie Grape, Sean Irwin, Keith Johnson, Pat Joyce, Bill Klein, Russ Mickelets, Bob Minish, Jim Nelson, Kurt Nelson, Mark Thompson, and Jim Voss. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. And with that, I'll invite Gail up here for a very special award.
Thank you, Carol. Well, I am very pleased to be able to give this award for the club. This is the Merle L's Heart of Rotary Award. And just a reminder, and to our guests, the Heart of Rotary Award is presented each year to a very special member of our club who best exemplifies Rotary's four-way test and who meets the following criteria. This person is very dedicated to the cause mission of Rotary. Person has made and continues to make a significant difference in the lives of many people and gives them hope for the future. This person deserves recognition for his or her significant efforts on behalf of the Minneapolis City of Lakes Rotary Club and on behalf of Rotary International. This person is a member of the Minneapolis City of Lakes Rotary Club. Active club members who are past recipients of this award made the selection of this year's award recipient. This year's recipient joined the Minneapolis City of Lakes Rotary Club in 2010. Since joining, this individual has quietly gone about helping the community and the City of Lakes Rotary Club by supporting and participating in a variety of projects. This individual has served in various leadership roles: community service chair, vocational service chair, and treasurer. They also developed and led new worthwhile projects and enhanced current projects. Here are some examples. The Sheridan Story, Now Every Meal. This individual got our club involved in this effort, which is to fight child hunger by providing a weekend supply of food to hungry children. They organize volunteer efforts to pack and distribute food so children have food to eat on the weekend. Junior Achievement. This individual led the way for our club getting involved with Junior Achievement. Give you a hint. He developed relationships with JA and connected JA with our club members, getting us actively involved. Recently has been instrumental in helping actualize one of our club's most substantial contributions. Joyce Agnew generously gave a monetary donation that he helped put into meaningful action. His connections and help will benefit so many. Impact on our club. This individual took it upon himself, and it wasn't easy with busy people, to gather information to fuel a new virtual recap of our many accomplishments. Why did he do this? Because he cares not only about our greater community, but our members, and wants them to engage and continue to support good causes. By now, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. And what I want to share was beautifully stated by Carol Russell. Jonathan Hobbs represents the true heart of Rotary because he gives proactively and unselfishly. At times when I know that he has been personally up to his neck at work with professional commitments plus family responsibilities, he finds time to advocate on behalf of others. In addition, he is the singular person who has stepped forward to me in a leadership position to say he wants to give more, to lead a committee, which he ultimately has done several times, to recommend ideas beyond his immediate responsibilities, and to volunteer in multiple ways. Lastly, Jonathan Hobbs does all of this without asking for anything in return. He looks for no recognition. He simply believes in doing what is right. At the end of the day, isn't that the heart of Rotary? Jonathan, would you come up front? And we have some visitors here to help you celebrate. In the back, we have, yeah, you can have a chair, and wow, you got lots of people supporting you here. So we have Jonathan's wife Jennifer and his children Victoria and Andrew. And you'll have to wave when I read your name. Bob, Kathy, Adam, Ken, and Gary, all friends from work. Thank you so much for coming. So I would like to read the inscription. Heart of Rotary Award presented to Jonathan Hobbs for exemplary leadership, personal sacrifice, and service above self to help and inspire others. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a lot of explaining for that hat. I lost a bet. Go blue. You know, this is one of these deals where you see this each year and you think, when I grow up, I want to see if I can maybe earn that someday. I'm floored, surprised, so humbled, because as is often the case in our club, one person can't do it. We do it as a club. And so without your support, we don't get these things done. And that's why we're here, because we can do more collectively than we do individually. We make an impact. One of the best projects I've been involved with was doing our impact statement, where I could, being an accountant, quantify the impact that this club's had, not just this year, but cumulatively. And it's remarkable when you get that on paper. We were just remarking that as we kept finding, you know, the impact that this club's done over its 35-year history. Amazing. So without this club, we don't individually get this each year. So thank you so much. Thank you. I'm very humbled.
That is great. And isn't that typical Jonathan? He's telling us what we all did and not what he did. Amazing. Okay, it is my honor to present the Richard Parrish Emerging Leadership Award. It's the 10th year that we have done this, and it's designed to recognize a Rotarian who joined our club within the last 2 years and is rapidly engaged in the spirit of service. By providing leadership and demonstrating commitment, the Emerging Leadership Award recipient has made a significant contribution to our club in the service above self. The recipient is chosen each year by the current president and the past presidents, that'd be us. So with that, I will turn it over to Scott.
Thank you. And I'm really happy to be able to give out this award. Dick Parrish was my mentor. So we have selected a very deserving member to receive the award this year. Immediately after he joined the City of Lakes Rotary Club in January of 2020, he started preparing a global grant application for the $70,000 global grant for the Mayan Women's Propensity Initiative in Guatemala. He quickly learned how to maneuver through the obstacles of writing and fundraising for a Rotary global grant in what seemed like unreasonable requests from Rotary International. He did not give up and used the resources of District 5950 to ultimately prevail to get the grant approved. He has a passion for working to improve lives of citizens in developing countries by his past and current association with many nonprofit organizations. With his extensive experience with living and working in many parts of the world, as well as his fluency in foreign languages, he truly is a global citizen with concerns for improving the lives of many around the world. But he also volunteers right here at home and volunteered for the Lake Street Council project. His Spanish fluency sounded like a great asset, but his years-long connection with Lake Street businesses and the nonprofit community proved most important. He helped City of Lakes volunteers get a sense of what was happening on Lake Street. He knew whom to call and for what. He learned that the Neighborhood Development Council was granting money and put Esteban Jimenez and his daughter Adriana in touch. and they successfully applied for a $1,500 NDC grant to buy a new point of sale system, which is 2 computerized cash registers to track inventory and to speed up customer checkout and to help avoid errors in accepting food stamps. He followed up with the grant when the process was frustrating for Esteban and Adriana, and their grant application was accepted. So we are so thankful for the generosity and enthusiasm for creating opportunities that truly make a difference in the lives of members in the community and the world. And we are also excited to see where he helps take our club, and especially the International Service Committee, where he is going to be chair next year, in the future. And, of course, as Jonathan can attest, we don't let people know they're getting their award. And so actually our recipient isn't here. So, but I want us all to congratulate and give applause for Rob Scarlett. And Carol, if you want to show, it's a beautiful award that Rob will get, and we look forward in presenting that to him in the near future. So congratulations to Rob.
Can't read a thing. Yeah, no. Okay, it is now my honor to present our final award, a very, very important one. It's the John Fisher Rotary Hope Award, and this is something that is selected by the past President's Council and is one that this year we had a number of nominations that were all very qualified, but this was one that we felt very strongly about. This award was established in 1987 to honor John Fisher, the founder of our club, one of our founders. This award is presented annually to an organization in our community who's bringing hope to others and making a significant difference in the lives of many people. It's also traditionally given to an organization that maybe isn't the highest profile that we all need to know about, but we don't see on the front page of the paper all the time. I'm very pleased to present this year's Rotary Hope Award to Black Men Teach, nominated by Jean Johnson. This incredible organization believes all students should attend schools staffed with racially and culturally diverse teachers and leaders, reflecting the students' race, ethnicity, and cultures. Here's the facts, and we'll have an opportunity to learn more about this in a couple of weeks when he comes to do a program for us, but a few things. Minneapolis-St. Paul public school systems serve approximately 70% students of color, while there are only 17% teachers of color. Recruiting and retaining educators of color has been a challenge to our community. To address this issue, Black Men Teach recruits, prepares, places, and retains Black male teachers in elementary schools. This program is making a meaningful, sustainable difference in combating systemic racism in our schools and is an important part of closing the achievement gap in our community. Marcus Flynn, Executive Director, is here to accept this honor. Marcus, on behalf of our club, if you want to come on up, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for all you and your organization are doing. There you go. And also, we have a $2,500 check for your organization that will hopefully further your efforts. So thank you for everything, and one more round of applause. And we'll say a few words again. He's coming back in a couple of weeks.
The whole time I thought this was our award. And I thought it was this. But I love this. I mean, this is amazing. So for us, this is actually pretty momentous. So we're a fairly young organization. We got our 501c3 status in 2018. Programming for us really began in 2020. So this is actually our very first award that we've ever received. So as said in the introduction, the mission of Black Men Teach is to recruit, prepare, place, and retain Black men in elementary schools. And so for us, we feel like this is a critically important mission. In general, men are significantly underrepresented in elementary school. Nationally, only 11% of all elementary school teachers are men. Nationally, only 2% of all teachers are Black men. So you imagine putting those two statistics together, you get a real small population. We estimate that in the state of Minnesota, there's about 63,000 teachers in the state, and less than half of 1% identify as Black men. So it gives you a number of about 220 across the state. Black students in Minnesota have there's one Black teacher for every 150 Black students in the state. And so that idea of representation is critically important when you think about how do we inspire the next generation to go and become teachers. And so our mission, our organization is here to change that. We're here to put more Black men into the elementary school classrooms, hoping to inspire another generation to come up after that. I do want to tell a quick story. I know I got 2 minutes, but typically when you say 2 minutes, that's about 5. So I'm gonna tell a quick story because I believe that the most important question you can ever ask is why. And so I'm going to tell a story of why I decided to move to Minnesota and become a teacher to do the work. And it really informs the perspective of why we do what we do. And so I went to school. I did not go to school to study education. I went to Iowa State University to be in health science. I went there for graduate school again to get my master's in epidemiology. And in that process, I had a mentor who told me that if you want to find your purpose, you have to intersect your passion and your talent. And so for me, I was really fixated on this idea. So I spent a lot of time thinking, what is the manifestation of my purpose for me? And early in that reflection process, I realized it wasn't epi, it wasn't what I was already doing. So the next question is what? And it's a really humbling question to ask yourself, what are you actually good at? And then how do you highlight and center that at the front of the work that you're doing? And through this process for me, I started to come across some really compelling statistics. So in epidemiology, you're looking at longitudinal observations, and you're looking at the relationship between exposure and outcome, and how can you have an intervention that kind of mitigates that. And so for me, I'm looking at all of these different health exposure outcome relationships, and I always see that education is controlled for. And when you don't control for education, now the relationship looks different. Education can sometimes be even more important than the intervention that you're trying to provide. And so for me, it started getting me to think maybe education is where the most foundational need is. And so what I did was I started to look at education. I saw some of the most compelling statistics I've ever seen in my life. I saw a study that said, if a Black student has a Black elementary school teacher, they're 13% more likely to enroll in college. If you had a second teacher, it's not an additive impact, it's multiplicative. You had a second teacher, now they're 32% more likely to enroll in college. Saw another study that said a Black elementary school student between grades 3 and 5, if they have a Black teacher, they're 29% less likely to drop out of high school. For the poorest boys in that study, they were 39% less likely to drop out of high school. And so name an intervention that exists right now in education that can increase the likelihood of a student going to college by 32%, decrease the likelihood of them dropping out of high school by 39%. And so for me, I felt like nothing was more important than having that representation for our students, for our kids. And so that was enough for me to change my path from being an epidemiologist to decide I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher in the early grades, and I started teaching 5th and 6th grade science. And so the question though, before I began teaching is actually where do you maximize your impact? And so I'm in Iowa at the time. Home for me is Illinois. So I'm Midwest born and raised. And what that means is I know what the winter is, and I know I don't want to experience it. I know I want no parts of it at all. So when I was making my decision, that was in the forefront of my mind. I don't want to do anything that has to do with winter. I'm looking at Texas, Arizona, Florida. Where can I go? Where it makes sense? But I'm a thorough person, so I wanted to do my due diligence. And when I looked at Minnesota, it leaped off the pages. Minnesota has the most paradoxical education environment, I believe, in the country. Minnesota, I saw 2 different things. And the number 2 is important on both of them. There's 2 lists. Minnesota was number 2 on the list of best education systems in the country from a population level. Number 1 was Massachusetts. Number 2 was Minnesota. I looked on another list, and at the same time, Minnesota was number 2. It was the largest Black-white education achievement gaps in the country. Number 1 was Wisconsin. Number 2 was Minnesota. And in my mind, I'm like, how can these 2 things be true at the same time? How can you have this infrastructure for education that's so strong that allows you to have the second best education system in the country, but at the same time have inequity so pervasive that it manifests explicitly in education? We have the second largest Black-white education achievement gap. For me, that was enough to decide, all right, snow ain't that bad. Let me come to Minnesota, and I feel like this is the place where the immutable qualities I bring to the classroom are the most valuable. And so that's what brought me to Minnesota. That's what informs the work that we do at Black Men Teach. That's our why. That truly believe that if you have the right person in the classroom, you can change outcomes, longitudinal outcomes for students, and you can improve the conditions that they live in. And so like she said, I'll be back December 8th to talk a little bit more about Black Men Teach, some of the methodology behind our approach, some of what we actually do. Sneak peek, we've committed almost $100,000 in scholarships for our college men. We've made commitments over the next 5 years of almost $500,000 in alleviating the student loan debt of some of the men in the classroom. So I'll be back, I'll talk more. I'll try to say some new things, but it might be the same conversation just for 25 minutes. Thank you all.
Great selection. Thank you, Marcus. That brings us to the end of this awards program. It's very exciting, again, to recognize everybody that has contributed so much. And those of you who we didn't name, again, we know that you are also giving. So thank you. And I will turn it back to Scott.
Wow, this is like my favorite day. Thank you, everybody. I want to make sure I thank folks. Congratulations to all the award winners, and thank you for your service above self. Thanks to everyone who submitted nominations for the Heart of Rotary and the Hope Awards. Thanks to the past Heart of Rotary winners for their selection. And thank you for the past President's Council for your selection of the Rotary Hope Award. What a great choice. I also want to thank Blake for giving us this morning's reflection. Always thank you to Ross and to Brock for your good work here. Thank you for Dick Mosman for getting us checked in and introducing our guests and visitors. And thank you all for being here today. With that, have a great Rotary week.